What's up, Brick Builders? Mayor Brick here. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute since my last update. I thought I'd give you an update on the Lego City, my studio, kind of what's been going on the past couple months, and a plan here for the future as we go into 2026. So let's go ahead and get started. The first update we're going to go over today is down here in the basement where the Lego City is. I've made some modifications here over the past couple of months, and I'll give you that rundown as we walk through. First and foremost, I added a couple of different display areas. So, everything's kind of cluttered right now. You'll get the idea as you look past the clutter. But obviously we have the Lego City here, which is on these three wooden tables. I've added underneath these IKEA tables. There's 4 of them here. So I can make a little micro display underneath the city. And I'm thinking about doing the same under that table down there. Right now I'm storing some of my traveling displays like the Buc-ee's, my Winter Village, and the Orchestra Mock. These are things that I bring around a brick convention and different shows throughout the country. I got to figure out a better storage system for those. But I'm thinking about adding another display down underneath, and that can be for, I don't know, like an airport or, a train display or whatever I really want it to be. On top of the city table, nothing's really changed. I've built a couple of modulars here over the past couple of months. I can't remember what all's new since I last updated you all. You can get the idea of how I'm starting to set this up and lay it out. Trying to keep the Marvel sets over here to themselves. Here we got the Avengers Tower and the X-Mansion. Then I've got a double Grand Emporium here, which I think looks great on a street corner. I've got the Jazz Club built. Next to the Jazz Club is one of my display traveling sets that I just have there temporarily. That's not going to be part of the Lego City. Then over here we have the Tudor Corner, half of the pet shop, the town hall. Here I have the botanical garden, and then we have one of the Bricklink designer sets. This is the antique store. I'll come over and get it from a different angle in a second. But here we have the downtown diner, detective's office, the other half of the pet shop modular, and then of course the upgraded boutique hotel, which I really like this upgraded version. On the other side of that, we have the Parisian restaurant. Across the street is a rebrickable build of, I think it's called the Sweet Arcade, or I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's the sweet shop and an arcade on top of it. And then we have the corner garage. Behind that, the Birch Books in the townhouse. Then, of course, we have our classics up front here. We have the Cafe Corner, the Green Grocer, the Fire Brigade, and Market Street. I have to do some surgery here on the Fire Brigade truck because that kind of fell and displaced itself. So no real rhyme or reason to where things are placed other than the Marvel Avengers stuff at the end. The modular buildings, when I build a new one and I come down here with it, I kind of play around with it, see where I want it. If it doesn't seem to fit anywhere, like Parisian restaurant or the bookshop for now, kind of just put them by themselves. And then as I get more modulars, I match them up next to each other, see what I like best, and, do some tinkering around with layouts. I'll show you what I did with the antique shop because I thought that was a really fun building. This set did not come on a base plate, but I added some room in front of the windows here. And you can see that people are just kind of piled up in front of it, but add a little bit of front yard for it, a sidewalk, of course. And I think I'm going to add some antiques in the front area here, like where the people are, some like outdoor antiques. So it all kind of works together. Now in front of the Lego City, I added 2 of these IKEA tables. This is where I'm going to make the little Ninjago Island. Previously, I said I was going to do it over here in front of where the amusement park's going to go. I'm going to keep that area reserved for a beach. So I want to do a big boardwalk and water and boats and, the waves and all that. So I have 4 of the IKEA Linman tables here lined up to do that. Of course, there's a whole bunch of crap on top of it right now. But that is where the beach is ultimately going to go. But I still wanted to feature Ninjago on its own because it's such a cool theme. And these Ninjago City modular-esque type buildings are so cool. So I'm going to do those in front of the Lego City here in a dedicated Ninjago display. I'm going to add some water base plates around it, and I've got 2 of the buildings already complete. I have the whole lineup, I just haven't built them yet. So more to come on Ninjago in the future, but this is where they will go. Now I'm going to go behind the city. The table back here I originally had reserved for an airport. I still think I'm going to do that. I'm debating now doing it potentially down here in this display under the airport, or excuse me, under the city. And then expanding the city over here, but I don't know if we need to do that quite yet. So I might start the airport up here and then move it down under the city should we need to do that to accommodate space. But I still think this is going to be where the airport's going to go. Right now I'm using this for manual sorting and storage. I had boxes and boxes of manuals over here that I needed to go through and organize. So I'm starting to do that here and getting everything in some sort of system so I can easily find them should I need them. And then underneath this table here, we have some of my used sets that are all labeled and organized. I just have to go through and start building them once I have the space. I think a lot of these totes are going to be for the theme park. You can see I have, some Disney, the haunted area, Batman, Spider-Man, Pirates, different trains, Harry Potter, and then these are all vehicles for the Lego City. So I don't know if I'm going to feature all of these in the city at once or keep them in a rotation, but I have a lot of vehicles. Then over here, nothing's really changed. Again, still some used sets that I have boxed up. And then, of course, my loose inventory. Those are the overflow pieces that I didn't necessarily have room for upstairs or wanted to store in mass quantities upstairs. Now, coming over to this side, remember these two tables here are going to be for the theme park eventually. Right now, they are full to the brim with sets. And so I got to get through this and I got to clean them. And the only way I'm going to be able to work on the theme park is if I just spend the time to go through and clean these up. The way I have this set up right now is these loose bags over here. These are all modular buildings that are going to go in the Lego City. I just have them queued up here. They're loose in bags. I got to go through and rebuild them. There's a lot here. And I'm sure if you dump out a big bag of pieces like this, it's very difficult to do it in a timely manner. So this is just going to take some time to get through it. Just got to do it. Next to the loose bags of parts, I have a whole crap ton of sets. I spent some time going through my new in-box inventory, and these are all the sets that I have duplicates of, or I specifically bought them on clearance to part them out. I'm going to part all of these out and add the pieces to my inventory upstairs. Now, this is going to be a time-intensive project. I don't know how long it's going to take. And looking at all of the sets, and mind you, it's not just what you see. It's there's quite a bit here. It's going to take a little bit of time to do that. So, but there's some really cool elements in these sets. And, some of these I found for 60, 70, sometimes even 80% off. And you have to get them when you find them. And if you're a builder and you like some of these custom pieces that come in these sets, you understand that you just have to get it when you see it on a good deal. So these are all going to be parted out and added to my parts inventory. And next to the sets to be parted out, I have a whole bunch of these bankers boxes. These are displays that I've brought to various shows over the years, and I have a hard time of dismantling something I spend a lot of time building, but I have to do it, right? Like these are things that I've displayed a couple of different times and don't necessarily want to keep bringing to shows. They've aged themselves. People have seen them a number of times. I want to build something new, but I want to reuse the pieces. You can kind of see through the little holes here, right? There's Mills plates, there's train track in here, some profile bricks and glass windows. There's good elements in here that can be reused. I just got to go through, dismantle the displays that I've made, reclaim those pieces in my parts inventory, and then build something new. So I have these here because these need to get parted out too. And so before I start building the theme park and doing anything down here, I need to really go through and dismantle these sets, part out these sets. I got to get that done. But the longer I wait, I feel like the more it piles up. So it's starting to become a little overwhelming. Underneath the theme park tables, I have, again, 2 empty IKEA tables. This is where my big train display is going to go. I'm going to build a bridge here connecting the 2 halves, and there's 6 IKEA tables to dedicate to trains. I wanted to integrate trains in the city originally, but I'm just trying to save space, and train track just takes up way too much space. In my opinion, I want to keep this tight with all of the roads and the buildings, so the trains will have their own dedicated space down here. And then on these tables here, which is where the beach is going to go, this is just like excess bulk, a bunch of random crap that I need to go through and part out. It's not organized in any way. A lot of the tubs are just filled with loose Lego. These are things that I've picked up either on Facebook Marketplace or my father-in-law's found and, brought back, or sets that I've given him to build that I just need to go through and either figure out what I want to do with it. Either keep it, dismantle it, part it out. I've just been kind of using this as a hodgepodge accumulation of sets and pieces that I need to figure out what to do with. So that's something I need to deal with as well. And then the last update for down here is the new inbox inventory that I have. I have gone through and organized everything here. Before it was just all organized by box type, which wasn't super helpful. If I wanted to, build a building for the city, I had to figure out like what I even had before I decided what to build. But now I have everything organized by display. So all the sets on this side are going to be for the city, whether it's going to be a modular building, a rebrickable, some sort of city build. This rack, basically the same thing, except the very top shelf I have as Ninjago. Then over here I have sets for a construction display, sets for a space display. These are some haunted pieces that I want to add to the amusement park. I got stuff here for the zoo, the winter village, and then the campground. And then I think I'm going to do a little bit of a stunts display that I'm going to bring around to shows next year. I really like these sets. I think they're fun. I just don't know how to integrate them with the city. So I think I'm going to make a traveling display out of it. Then on this side, I have my Marvel up top as well as more space sets, but space sets I'm going to add to the theme park, not necessarily for a space display. I got my Disney theme park stuff here, as well as Jurassic Park. And then below that, stuff that's going to go for the beach display. Then over here we have Harry Potter. We have more random theme park miscellaneous stuff. Of course, all the Star Wars sets. And then this shelf here is for my daughter. This is her Duplo collection that I've been starting for her. So it's fun to see that start to grow. And then down below, I have Indiana Jones, and then, this is the airport stuff. Yeah, stuff for the airport. And then last but not least, this shelf here, I have Castle, Pirates, train track, some trains I need to build. And below that, we have 2 shelves dedicated to display. What I mean by display is up in the studio, I have a whole bunch of Billy bookcases. These are sets that don't necessarily go in any specific section of the city. They're just sets I want to build and display in my studio. And then below that, we have residential stuff where I'm going to build houses for the Lego City. And then here's a back view of the stuff that I need to part out, all the bankers boxes, and then you can kind of see the part out sets back there. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of work to be done here in the basement, but we have everything organized so we just have to spend the time and do it. That's the hardest part, is finding the time when I just want to build sets. I don't want to clean and organize. I think we all can understand that. But all right, let's go up to the studio. I'll give you an update of what I've been doing up there and some of the work that we need to get done. Okay, so coming into the studio, you can kind of see there's clutter everywhere on all of the shelves. Every spot of this room is just needing to be touched and cleaned. Over here, I have some pieces I've picked up over the past couple months, some storage bins and, the gallon bags that I used to put loose elements in. I have added some artwork on the walls. I've collected some stuff, but just stuff everywhere here. Got loose bins. We got sets that I've purchased that I want to build and just don't have time. Got trash from leftover builds. All the plastic pieces. I got all my receipts from all of the sets I've purchased recently. That big black bowl full of just spare elements at the end of builds. Empty boxes from sets built. Trash from the snack I just ate. Oh man, this place is a mess. It's just not inviting to come in and build. But here you can see the Billy bookcases. They're starting to look pretty good. I put the flowers in glass vases. I think that looks really nice. I've been building little sets here and there as I get time, and it's really starting to look full. I added the shelf here above the TV as well for the Orient Express. I wanted to get a floating shelf for a rotating train display. I have some new artwork here too above the door. This is an actual official Lego marketing I don't know what you call it, but I picked them up on eBay. I thought they were fun. And then I have these metal minifigures that I picked up at an antique mall. They're super, super heavy, so I had to figure out a good way to secure them to the wall. But I love these. I thought they were fun and add some nice color to the Lego room. In the closet, I've organized this as well. This was just a dump zone for a whole bunch of crap. So I went through, cleaned it up, organized it, have my overflow pieces in those bins. And then this here is kind of like the admin Billy bookcase. So I went through and cleaned that up. I have all my base plates on the bottom two shelves here. Some of the thicker plates, as well as some fishing wire, my scale. I have a big thing of brick separators, pens, some electronics, some tools, all of my name badges for traveling, my label maker. These are all the batteries for the train track and the tiny little screwdrivers that I always seem to lose. Stickers, and then of course the storage bags. I only use the Target Up and Up. I don't know, I committed to that a long time ago, and those are the only bags I use. So let's go ahead and start cleaning and organizing. All right, so it's 4 a.m. right now, the next day. Everybody's sleeping in the house. I'm awake though because I've been thinking about Lego organization, and that just makes me super excited. So here's what we're doing. You may recall seeing this bowl was literally full to the brim with just spare elements. You know how when you build a set, you have those extra pieces at the end, or if you're building something custom, you grab handfuls of pieces, and then the leftovers that you didn't need, you just toss in the bin. Well, yeah, all of that is now organized into all of these white parts, because that's what you do when you're up in the middle of the night. So now what I'm gonna do is take these and file everything away, because it's all nice and neatly organized. Next, I'm going to go through and part out these sets that my father-in-law picked up from an antique mall, or a used toy store. I can't remember exactly where it was from, but I don't necessarily need these sets in my collection, so I'm going to part out the pieces and reclaim them that way. I also have a flower set here that I have multiple copies of, so I'm just going to part out one of these duplicate copies that I have. I have two versions of this tow truck, and this one, for whatever reason, is missing 3 wheels and a bunch of parts. So I'm just going to part this out, add those pieces to my inventory as well. And then here is the pink and the white elements for the, I think it was the bonsai tree. I have it set up here actually on the display stand, and I like it with the green. I don't think I'm ever going to put the pink on it, so I'm just going to part the pink pieces out and put those in the collection as well. So let's do that. Okay, everybody, so it's a couple days later, and I've got the Lego room, the Lego studio, all cleaned up, ready to go for future builds. Let me show you some of the things that I cleaned up, kind of how I organized, and the project that we have up next to build. So as I was mentioning earlier, I added a whole bunch of additional shelves here on the Billies, more than what usually comes with them. And right now they're pretty much linear all across, but I can adjust these up and down. If I have a taller set over here, like the Disney camera, for example, we can work these shelves up and down to accommodate. But right now I'm just displaying a lot of the smaller stuff here that doesn't necessarily fit in a city scene. I have some sets that I want to build and put on display. So you can see, I have the Ziploc bags down here. These are sets I'm going to build soon and put out on display. Only have a couple of those here that are ready to be built. And I wanted to make sure I left some open room, obviously, for future stuff that comes out that I don't have yet. Down here, I added my Lego books, which I used to have in a little closet. Now, I don't look at these a heck of a lot, but they actually do come in handy if you're looking for some inspiration or, want to get a little guidance on how to do something with Mindstorms or Technic or whatever. These are great books, so I like to keep them handy. Over here, I have some bags of stuff that still needs to get parted out and put back into my parts inventory. So I just have everything kind of contained in a box for now. Now, this is not even a fraction of the stuff that I have to sort out. I think if you saw the clip in the beginning of the video of the stuff that I have in the basement, this is just a very small portion. This is just stuff that's been kind of sitting in my office, which I'll show you in a second. I needed to clear out my office though, and so it's all sitting in this box now. And that's really what being a Lego hobbyist is. You just move clutter back and forth, and eventually it gets dealt with. Now, in the shelves on the build table here, this is always going to be kind of a hodgepodge of things. So I'll start at the bottom left. These are the spare containers I have to sort parts in the Sterilite drawers. So I keep these handy because I'm always buying and acquiring parts. So I like to keep these handy so I can keep things organized. To the right of that are all my minifigures, and I don't really organize these in any way, so there's just bags and bags of minifigures, but I do need to organize it, and I understand that, so that's why they're here to remind me, so eventually I do it. Above that, I have some sets that I need to go through and make sure they're complete, because I want to sell them, obviously. These are Winter Village sets from the Winter Village line, particularly I think the light blue cottage, the post office, and I think I can't remember the name of it, but the one that has the merry-go-round carousel in it. I recently picked up a lot from Facebook Marketplace that were originals with instructions, and these, I think I pieced a lot of these together over the years. And the post office, for example, doesn't have the original stickers. I had to buy aftermarket stickers. So I'm getting rid of the ones that I pieced together and keeping the official ones because I try to be a purist whenever I can, and I found a good deal on them. Some more bigger overflow containers, and then just some sets that I had to open to get specific pieces, and I'm just going to part out the rest of the parts. And actually, this middle one is going to be our next project. So I'll give you a little tease. Now, if you've been to a Lego convention, you've probably heard of Citizen Brick. They have some really cool custom minifigures, printed tiles, and just, it's not official Lego. It's all like their own 3D printed, injection molded pieces, but they all work with Lego. And so they had this setup, I think it was at Brickworld Chicago or Brickworld Indy, maybe a year or two ago, of a jail. And I thought it looked really cool. Well, I don't think they had it as a jail. They just had these fence pieces, the barbed wire. They had it all set up and it looked really cool. I was like, I want to make a jail with like a prison yard and all that. So I went online, bought all these elements for it, and recently I purchased 50 of these bad boys, orange pants, and the jail uniform. So the next thing I think I want to do is just work on a little mini jail mock and maybe put it near the police station modular, or it could just be its own standalone thing to bring around to shows. But I always thought that would be pretty fun to make a good modular sized jail. So stay tuned if that interests you. Of course, I also cleaned up the floor over here, got a lot of stuff moved into the basement. I think the last thing I need to do in here is get a good vacuum. It's been a minute since I've done that. So overall, the studio is really coming together. It's nice and clean in here. The biggest thing for me is making this an inviting space that I want to be in, that's relaxing, that I can put some Lego together and have fun in the process. And I think we're finally there. And the last thing I'll highlight for you here is my actual office. I do work from home full time. I've been out on paternity leave though, because obviously we have my daughter Josie. She was born in February. And I took my leave a little bit later in the year. My company has a really generous leave policy. So I was able to go on leave from like August through now. Next week I'll be back full time. So I wanted to get this cleaned out. But while I was out, I used this basically as a storage room for all those big bags of parts that needed to get sorted and stuff that I didn't want to see every day. So I really just moved it from the Lego studio in here because I wasn't really in here that much. But now that I will be back in here, obviously I want to have a clean space to work. So everything moved back to the Lego room. And most of it I did clean and sort. It's just that big box of stuff that needs to be parted out is really all that's left to be done. So this is my clean studio. Love it. I like being in here. The dog obviously is in here too. So you see the dog food bowls. See, I still have some Lego in here. Obviously my patents and Lego artwork. And then we're also Disney fans, so I have some Disney artwork, some mementos on the shelves too. But I like this room. It's comforting to be in here. So that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you for stopping by and being part of this cleanup vlog with me. I think going forward, a lot of these videos are going to be very similar to M&R's behind the scenes videos, where he basically does like a week or 2 weeks worth of content and then uploads once a week. I don't know what his schedule is, but it reminds me of that style where I film a little bit every day, but not posting a daily video. It's just way too much with a job and having a newborn at home. So thank you all for being patient with the uploads here. I think we're going to get back into a little bit of a groove here. I'm excited for that, and I will see you in the next video. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed this update. Comment, let me know what you're working on. Let me know what you think about the gel. If you have any ideas or if you've seen one that's really cool that I should look at for inspiration, feel free to link it below. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.